Hello, my name's Scott. I'm a professional magician and this is a magic review.
It's a kind of magic.
In today's review, we are looking at Sonore by Valentin Danneville, I think, and Illusionist, or as some of you may know this as the harmonica biscuit. There are so many things that I have to say about this and so many really important details as to whether you will get the most out of this and whether you should spend your money on it. So stick with this review until the end while I try to help you as much as I possibly can because there is so much to cover. I also have an exclusive discount code if you want to purchase Sonore or if you want to make any other purchase at Illusionist. The exclusive discount code from me to you will be later on in the review. But my TLDR on Sonore is that it's incredible. What it does is incredible. The illusion that it creates is incredible. It's not a magic trick in itself. I would describe it more as a system that allows you to create magic or the illusion of magic with sound. I do highly recommend it. I've been having a lot of fun playing around with it, and this is one of those rare gems that really does give you the freedom to create any magic you want with any sound that you like. Complete freedom of creativity. And while I do love it and while I do recommend it, it comes with a lot of restrictions and requirements, which I will walk you through as we go through this review. But that's my TLDR on Sonore. I absolutely love it, and I think it's such a phenomenal system that will help you create illusions and magic effects with sound. With the TLDR wrapped up, let me get into what is it. It's a system that you wear, that you have on your body, that allows you to create any sound at any point of time that you wish. The sounds that they show you and the effects that they show you in the trailer for this are: one, the harmonica biscuit, where Valentin takes what looks like a harmonica, he plays the harmonica in front of people with the sound and literally playing a harmonica, and then he opens his hands, and actually all that time while he was playing the harmonica, it ended up being a biscuit and not a harmonica at all. Another effect is how he flicks a glass and then the glass is removed and then he still flicks it, and you get that sound of him pinging the glass even though it's no longer there. So he's pinging an invisible glass. The final effect that they showcase is the singing glass, where this is something that you can actually do. You don't need a magic trick to do this, but this takes it to another level. So you wet your finger, you run it around the lip of a glass, and it starts to make a ringing noise, a singing glass. And then you remove the glass and you're still making the sound. And then you can capture the sound and put it in your pocket or do another thing with it. So those are the kinds of effects that are possible with Sonore. But overall, in terms of what is it, it can be anything you want it to be, as long as it's with a sound or a song or a noise of some sort. You have complete freedom over what you create using the Sonore system. What do you get with it? I wish I could show you. I will tell you as much as I possibly can without giving away exactly what it is. Of course, you're creating the illusion of sound, so it may come as no surprise that you're working with some sort of speaker. And unlike what a lot of people might think, the sounds do not come from your phone. They come from a thing that allows you to speak to people. And this thing that allows you to speak to people with sound is quite small and it's fairly easy to hide. There's another thing that attaches to that you wear, which will really help you harness the energy and the sound of this effect. And then there's a remote that allows you complete control of when the sound that you want speaks to people. I think that's everything physically inside the box. There are a couple of other things as well that will help you create the system, but that's roughly what you receive inside the box physically. You also receive instructions on the Illusionist website. I couldn't find a way to download them, which is a shame. It surprises me that companies are still not allowing people to download their instructions that they've paid for and that they've purchased and that they should own forever. But honestly, I'm tired of banging that drum now. I'm not going to sit here and not tell you to not screen record your own instructions that you've purchased. But the instructions are really thorough. Valentin takes you through everything. He takes you through creating your own sounds. He has 3 sounds that I've described previously as the 3 sounds that come ready to use: the flicking of the glass, the singing glass, and harmonica biscuit. So those are the 3 effects that are included, but there's so much more detail here, and Valentin gives you the building blocks to build any sound that you like, to create any illusion that you like, basically. I will say as well that if you purchase this already, the files that come with this, that you can download from your Ellusionist account page, they have changed a couple of times, and I was speaking to Valentin a couple of days ago to figure out a very small problem with some of the files that you received that were causing issues, but that has now been resolved, and I believe the files are all accurate and all working properly. So if you have already downloaded the files, go back to your account, download the updated files, and keep an eye out on your email inbox to see if any of the files are updated in the future, because I would highly recommend downloading the most up-to-date files that Ellusionist provide for you. That covers everything that you receive with the Sonore system, and there's no app, just in case you were wondering. How easy is it? Yeah, so this is really difficult to explain, and even more difficult to explain when you haven't seen it and I'm trying not to give away completely how everything works and the product. So it's very easy. Once you're set up, all you do is press the remote, and you don't have to press it with your hands. The system gives you a way of a hands-free method where you can activate the sound any time you like. But setting the whole thing up does require a little bit of work and a little bit of concentration. This isn't something that you're going to get out of the box and straight away, within half an hour, within an hour, within a day even, be performing for people. It does require your time and your attention to set everything up properly. Once you do have an understanding of how to set it up, it's very fast and it's very quick to get ready for you to perform. I will say one more thing on top of that. I'm not particularly good with certain things with technology. So while you don't have to do this, there are some settings in your phone that Valentin recommends that you do. For example, I never have the vibrate feature on my mobile phone. Never. For anything. And it is really recommended for you to turn it on with this. It's also recommended that you change your login functions, removing Face ID, and there's lots of little settings that aren't 100% required, not all of them at least, some of them are required to perform it. But basically what I'm trying to say is that you will have to mess around with the settings in your phone, and that may mean that your phone will function slightly differently when it's set up to perform Sonore. You can reset it to the settings that you like on a day-to-day basis when you're not using this. And Valentin does take you through all of the instructions step by step, both for iOS and Android. So you can always go back to the instructions and set it up again. But there is a little bit of a learning curve when you're setting up that aspect of the Sonore system. That being said, to actually perform it once you have it set up is incredibly easy. It's just a quick press, again, not with your hands, and the illusion of the sound will speak to people. Reset time. There is a little bit of a reset time. So the Sonore system at the moment, anyway, this may be improved, it may be changed in the future, but at the moment you can only play the sound once. And then whatever sound you're playing, if you want to play it a second time, you will have to unlock your phone and you will have to do something very quickly. It only takes 2 or 3 seconds, but if you want to play that sound again or another sound again, you have to go into your phone. So this is not one of those things that you can just repeat continuously and continually flick glasses and do a symphony of glasses. You can have a sound set up where you play a symphony of glasses, but once that sound stops speaking to people, you will have to go back to your phone so that you can make it trigger again. And that means that the reset time is very fast, but be aware that you will have to revisit your phone before performing it a second, third, fourth time, or to select a different sound. Another thing here to note is that the 2 things that you receive inside the box from time to time will need recharging. So depending on how much you use it, you might have to recharge it after each performance, if you're performing a lot, that is. If you're performing at an event for 2 hours and you're performing this for lots of groups of people, you may have to recharge one of the things. The other thing has a charge that lasts a really long time. It just uses a watch battery. So that's going to last ages before you need to replace it. And that is something to be conscious of. If you're traveling, if you're a gigging magician and you're performing this a lot, you will want to have access to a charging point or a battery bank. And now the angles for Sonore. Amazing. You can perform it 360 degrees. There are no angle restrictions whatsoever with this. You can perform it in short sleeve t-shirt. You do have to have some specific clothing on depending on your body shape and that kind of thing, but I'll touch on that in the final thoughts. But it can be performed anywhere, anytime, surrounded 360 degrees. The pocket space is not quite as good as the angles. So because you have something that allows you to speak to people, that will have to be stored somewhere. And it's maybe in between the size of a golf ball and the size of a baseball. It's not quite as big as a baseball though. And the thing is with that because you're wearing the system, it is covered. But there are some restrictions on it, and you don't have to wear it the way that Valentin chooses. It is ideal and it does give the best illusion, but you could have it inside your inside jacket pocket or something like this. And there is a little bit of freedom with this, but be aware that when you take the Sonore system off, you will need a box like this to carry the bits and pieces that allow you to wear the system and to use the system, because it can be a little bit uncomfortable wearing the system, especially if you're wearing it for long periods of time. And that just about covers pocket space. My final thoughts. As I say, this gives you complete freedom, complete creative freedom, complete flexibility on how you want to create the illusion of a magic trick or a magical moment using sound. You do need a couple of other things, which I have just here. So these you absolutely do need. Little felt pads, sticky backed felt pads. These are not provided. You will have to purchase these so that you can set up the Sonore system. They're very cheap. You can get them anywhere, but that's, in my opinion, the one thing that you absolutely need. The second thing that Valentin uses is duct tape. I actually didn't use it. For me, just these felt pads are enough. But if you want to follow his instructions completely, you will also need some duct tape. And then Valentin doesn't say this, but I would recommend taking some scissors so that you can cut up the felt pads, because that's going to make your life easier when building the Sonore system. I don't want you to feel like this is an arts and crafts project though, because what you have to do and what you have to build is not that elaborate. Most of the hard work is already done for you here, but it is something that you need to be aware of, these things, that you will need these, you might need this, and you will need a pair of scissors just to be able to get you started and set up so that you can practice Sonore. Another thing that I will say is I'm a slim guy. I'm 5'10", I'm about 10 stone, so I'm quite slim, and I need quite a loose fitting t-shirt. If I'm going to perform this just in a t-shirt, I need quite a relaxed fit, oversized t-shirt. A slim fit or a more fitted t-shirt wouldn't work. You would absolutely see the Sonore system, and that's something to be aware of, the clothing restrictions. I think the bigger you are, the more leeway you have with this, and the more hidden it will be. But if you're a small person, like I am, small, slim person, you can still absolutely perform this. I've had this on over the top of a t-shirt, but under a suit jacket, and I've performed it perfectly fine. It's a little bit uncomfortable for me, just because my suits are quite fitted to my body. But if you have any kind of regular fit, relaxed fit, or oversized clothing, like this jumper, for example, then you're going to be able to hide Sonore perfectly fine. But as I mentioned earlier on in the review, you don't have to wear the thing in exactly the way that Valentin suggests. It does create a great illusion, and probably the best illusion of where the sound is coming from. But if you wanted to, you could just have it in a pocket inside a jacket. And I'm not saying a suit jacket, it can be any kind of jacket. Or you could potentially have it in another pocket or somewhere else, but that's up to you to play around with. Valentin doesn't actually talk about that in the instructions because he's created the system with everything in mind to wear it in this way rather than have it in pockets. So I think that's everything that I have to say on this. You have to be aware of your clothing, but it's not that restrictive. You can get away with many, many different kinds of clothing as long as it's not too tight and too fitted. And also, the larger size person you are, the more you'll get away with and the more hidden it will be. Second thing is that you will need these extra bits and pieces. And also, I want to point out that over time, technology will get better. So the thing that allows you to speak these sounds to people might get smaller, in which case you can replace the thing that comes with Sonore. Or there might already be another one that is smaller that allows you to perform it more comfortably, but it was just too expensive to include in the Sonore package. To be honest, I'm amazed that they've kept this at £80 or $100 roughly with what's included inside the box. So I think it's a great deal, and I think that it's well worth the price if you're willing to put in the effort to create it and wear it. And I think that's everything. As I said at the beginning, there's tons of things to cover with this, and I'm sure I've missed some things off and forgotten some things. So if you have any questions, leave it in a comment below this video and I'll reply as soon as I can with an answer for you. I do recommend this. I do love it. I am enjoying using it very much. And if you want to pick one up, then of course you can use the discount code EverythingMagicPro to get an exclusive discount, not just on Sonore, but any purchase you make at the Ellusionist website. There will also be a link in the top pinned comment and in the video description. Using these links and using these discount codes that are exclusively for me to you do help out my channel. Ellusionists do send me a small amount of money for every single purchase that's made with my links and with my discount codes. So thank you very much if you do use those. Of course, you don't have to use those. And that, I think, is the review for today. I hope that I've been able to explain thoroughly enough and help you make a decision of whether you want to purchase this or whether you don't want to purchase this. Thank you for sticking with this review. It's been a really difficult one to make and also edit. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next review.